course, he can run fast. So
I told him we might need to leave in a minute. I know.
I just left there to make sure everybody was on board with that. You know what I mean? I said, look, call, don't text, call. Like, I gotta get it right now. Text. I don't even text.
This is fun.
Yeah, they're all up there, ready to go.
Oh,
yeah. And of course, you know, Adam's like,
yeah,
but it really good.
One person on this is 18 years old. No, the other one.
should experience with that.
Oh, yeah, he's all wound up too.
He was at the remember at the drive-thru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That changed his perspective.
Yes, it did. Yeah. Baltimore drive-thru, robbed them.
Yeah, I remember that Caleb Ewan first got hurt at one point. He got locked in the freezer.
Oh, that's right. He did get locked in the freezer. I forgot all about that.
I'll tell you what, man, she's the most aware person I've ever met. Well, it changed her entire world.
That's what you want working for.
Oh, yeah, nothing got by her, man. She was sharp.
Okay, if you notice, everyone's got a microphone, so we're going to see.
If the sound improved.
Well, we're going to find out. I'm sure we'll find out, but.
Of course, I told Addie, I said, why did you take the check? Like, what do you, and she was, I didn't know, I didn't. I go, how did you not know? I was like, because I didn't.
She's never used to check before.
I didn't know what it was.
184, some bank you never heard of from some person for yeah, I guess this couple been dropping stuff at every HR room somewhere.
Great. What they buy.
Oh, like a Milwaukee tool and some other stuff. But one of the things that he gets is free battery worth $159 for the tool they bought. I didn't have the stock, so he's got to come back and get it.
Oh, perfect.
So it's a
Pretty sure he'll come back for his hidden $159 battery because he's assuming we had time for that check to go to the bank and come back bad. So,
Wow.
do we can.
Are we open?
We're up.
All right, call the order for the finance for August 12th. Roll call, please.
Reedy,
Present.
Cosgray, Phillips.
We also have an attendance, Councilmember Debbie Schaffner, Rick Foreman, Clay Cosgray, Mayor Rick Ellis, Brett, our chief, Matt Nyheiser, our village administrator, and Brian Bidler, our fiscal officer. Can I have approval of the minutes of July 8th, 2024?
make a motion to approve the minutes from July 8th, 2024.
Do I have a second?
Also,
All in favor, say aye. Visitors, Mr. Bidler, would you like to speak?
No. Just
Don't we need to approve the agenda?
No.
Okay. Goals. Our goals, obviously, are to keep spending within the 2024 appropriations. Do you have any old business? All right, new business review of the monthly financials, bank reconciliation, Mr. Fiscal Officer.
Okay, we ended up with a bank and book balance of $2,070,858.76. Looks like total receipts last month was $326,000. Checks written was $560,000. We had one deposit in transit and a few outstanding checks, and that's pretty much it for the reconciliation there. Page 3 is the outstanding checklist. Page 5 of the reconciliation is the outstanding receipts. The one water and sewer receipt. And then you get into the payment listing. Like I said, we We wrote $560,403.62 worth of checks last month. Some of the bigger ones last month paid for the windows of $23,809. We're upstairs. Spires paving for $200,000. That came in $6,000 under budget, by the way.
Wonderful.
The car company was $21,865. That was for the replacement of placement vehicle for the police department. We used the insurance check to pay for that. Other than that, I don't see anything else.
Are the windows completely paid for, or just the?
That's just for this year. We still have another year. And then we got to consider about the roof.
Are there 2 more years in the budget though?
There's 2 more years in the budget, but they're going to be finished. But yeah, we budgeted $25,000 a year for windows.
Just relabel that building repairs instead of windows. So
We get a price to re-roof it or to fix the roof.
No, Tim had a company look at it, and
Yeah.
they said it was going to be like $80,000.
yeah,
It'll be about,
And that's if you want to put a new slate on. I don't know if it'd be different if we went with something different. But that's
probably you can't, the integrity of that building, say, on
a crime to replace that.
it.
but they're looking at least 80,000. If we wait a couple years, who knows what it'll be then?
They just got a budget time.
Well, it's cheap. We invest in that slate and fix it properly for the last 100 years.
Yeah, I think you're correct about that.
That's it for the reconciliation of payment list. You got any questions?
I don't have any questions. Anyone else have it?
I write a lot of checks.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to know what, I may have to sit there and go back to it to figure out what it was for. A lot of things come across my desk.
Metrics.
Moving on, we last month Star High we $2,613.92. Last month's distribution for Rita was $98,015. I think the percentages at the end of July we should be around 58-59%. So as you can see, the general fund, street fund, only the street fund exceeds that where they should be. That's because all the paving projects are done.
Right.
50%, 40% there, and we're where we need to be on the other side. Receipt wise, things come in as they should be.
Questions on the metrics?
Yeah, there's the appropriations status of all the for the funds. As you can see, street fund is at 66%, but that's because 97%. Well, that's because capital outlay, they're done with capital outlay. They're done with debt service, and they're at 51%. So. Water fund's okay now. Sewer fund. Pool is where we should be right now. Pool's coming to an.
Anxious to see when the pool closes where we're at this year versus years past.
Well, I can tell you that memberships because I keep a spreadsheet on their daily receipts, do a comparison. Memberships were up about $8,000 this year. And pool coming through the door is up too.
I feel like having Brett there is I think you would agree with that, Brian.
Yeah, we need to retain him.
Yeah, we do. And because he has put some organization into that whole thing and quite frankly, it's nice to go to school. Actually, one of the things that Tim is considering is when the pool closes, is draining the pool and maybe going ahead and painting it and getting it ready this fall for next spring. So next spring, they're not rushing around to get.
I don't know if that'll work.
What's that?
I don't know if that'll work. They're gonna cover the pool.
I don't know how that works, but they're talking about doing some things maintenance wise this fall. So in the spring, we don't have to. And then we're gonna visit how much money we have left on that grant and possibly.
Yeah, so we can get reimbursed.
Yes. Get our money back.
I mean, we can't do all we had originally planned. Like a splash pad.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
I don't know whether
Splash pad is-
that splash pad, we thought it was gonna be like 50,000.
Yeah, it was like.
It's like 100 and some thousand. So
yeah, we
that's,
gotta do it. But it looks a lot nicer in there. We got some lawn chair. I mean, we should use as much of that money that we came from the grant. That nature stone's probably not a bad idea. I'm just saying we'll revisit that when the pool closes, maybe do some of that stuff for fall, and then just be done with it for the money and like you said, reimbursed.
yeah, you can get reimbursed for it before we lose it.
Yes. I think we have to the end of November is what she told me.
Okay.
Yep.
I assume I would just have to photocopy things and
Yeah,
send
I
it
would
to her,
assume so. Yeah.
scan or whatever, scan and send it to her. Okay.
She was pretty open with the stuff that we were doing. I told her on almost everything we did.
Well, it kind of went dormant, and you know when Terry had got the grant, and then she left,
Right.
and then there was Tim Little who knew about it, but we didn't really do anything. Then Holbrook came, and
Right.
he was aware of it, and he did a couple things, but
Right.
it wasn't until you got him like, we
I
got
know, but I just wanted to spend the money and we needed to do some improvements because I feel like some of the improvements we did will reflect on the revenue taken in.
Now we had Wi-Fi put over here. Now I can call Frontier and have that shut off.
We absolutely should.
Is that what you said?
100%.
And then have it turn it back on
Yeah,
next
in the spring.
May.
Yep,
Okay.
so we're not paying for it, yes.
I think the bathroom floor is probably.
Well, we talked about maybe doing nature stone
Or something.
or even in the common area.
Yeah. Some of those areas in there.
Yeah.
Pretty.
We even talked about maybe where we did the metal and the lights in the common area and talked about doing that in the shelter house as well, because there's already electric rams in there.
Right.
Just to make it look,
Birds nesting in there.
Yep. just to make it look nicer. And
The
then
ceiling in there stops that.
we were able to buy, what was it, Brian, 12 more lounger chairs?
Yeah, we bought 12 more.
I mean, I'm just saying, we did some things to make it look.
Right.
And I
Looks
feel
great.
like, yeah, and I also feel like the lady that did the people from the restaurant did a wonderful job at the concessions.
Yeah, I mean, initial stuff was weird, but after that, it seemed like.
No, I think it went great. I mean, everything fell into place from the 1940 water fountain to the school giving us a water fountain with a bottle. I mean, it just all fell into place. So we're looking, Tim knows how to fix it, install all that stuff. I'm just saying it all fell into place.
Okay.
The bathroom's just the number one.
Yeah, those bathrooms need work. I mean,
Yeah.
it's.
And I think if we do the nature stone in there, and just make it easier to clean. Yeah. And we have to replace
We
it.
might as well make it nice.
Yes, 100%, and then be even better next year. Yeah.
Yeah, the health inspector wasn't too happy with the cracks in the floor. I said, well, we're planning on putting nature stone in here. So, oh, okay, well then we'll overlook it this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you kind of delayed.
Which we
got to lay off. I promised that we'll do something.
Well, Brian and I, we had talked about it, but we just didn't have enough time to get it done
Right.
before.
Well, that and our license expired and I had to reapply and had to go through the whole shebang of, well, I don't know about that freezer and I don't know about this. And I'm like, oh my God, I wanted to strangle somebody.
Well, and it was,
It's just a concession stand, folks.
yeah, and it's only open for a few months a year, so 6 months a year, whatever it is. Moving along.
Okay, next is the water and sewer.
No, we need approval of financial reports.
Sorry. Oh, yep. Can I have approval?
Next motion, we approve the financial report.
Thank you. Second. Want roll call or all in favor?
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to talk about the water and sewer rates.
Okay, what you have in front of you right here is the ordinance that we passed in 2019, increasing water and sewer rates, just the water and sewer rates, 3% each year. And as you can see, I've highlighted, it expires this year. So if council wants to consider extending this, they're going to have to pass legislation doing that. Given the cost of everything going up, I don't see where we can get around it.
Will there be a point during this time when the sewer debt will come down or something
Well,
can come off?
Well, that's, I've got that in part of this package here. This is what the current rates are. So what's 3% at $17? 50 cents, 55 cents. So that's what you're just adding up the increasing of those base rates by 3%. If council wants to do that. And then this page here, I reanalyzed the debt part again, given the fact since this is expiring, based on paying off all the loans we paid off 4 loans last year. Looks like we could reduce the water debt charge 50 cents and the sewer debt charge $1.50 if need be, and still meet our coverage to retire the debt.
I mean,
So that's because it's a give and take here.
So it ends up being a net zero almost.
If you would pass the 3% on the first year, then it would go up 3%, so forth.
well, I mean, 3%. If it zeroes out, you just gotta be able to explain that.
Well, yeah, the rates go up, the water rates,
Right.
but this is what the people don't understand. You
Right.
look at your bill. You got a water rate and a sewer rate. That's the base rates, and that's one of the cheapest in the county.
Right.
I mean, if you take away the debt charges, your minimum bill would be about $36.50. But people don't look at that. They look at the bottom
So
line.
on the base bill, what does that do to the total then versus afterwards? If we raise the rate 3%?
It'll zero it out pretty much.
Well, the first year it might take that 80-52 and actually lower it a little
I
bit.
was gonna say, I don't see that number. I want to see that.
Well, I didn't update. I just showed you what it looks like right now.
Yeah.
I think we're silly if we don't.
You got a calculator?
Yeah.
Multiply that by
Yeah, do both.
3%.
I mean, and
You
then,
can't take debt service if it isn't true
Right.
debt service.
right,
And then
That's
the
why
3% is
Oh.
needed.
it's a wash and it's gonna make it even a little low.
Oh, shoot.
But we have to keep up with,
Right.
and that's why.
It's gonna bite us next year because we're gonna have a rate increase. But
Point. Oh, my phone.
right now, so we can break even, we're gonna have.
Well, and this is an example of what.
Okay.
So,
So water would go up 51 cents. So that'd make that 17.56, and then 19. $0.58.
And we
Didn't
lower
we just lower it?
That's 20.
I swear my bill went down
It did, because we paid off debt. We paid off debt.
We paid off debt.
We raised the rate and lowered the debt because we paid off.
But we
debt.
didn't raise the rate last
In the future, I know there's things never done out there, well, that's under.
year. This is precisely why we got
We got these filters and things that stop you replaced in so many years.
Yeah.
Well,
We put money back for that? I think we do have.
we do have for the sewer debt.
That's fine, and-
Yeah.
Oh, not the sewer debt, sewer improvement.
Yeah, we have
We have an
one for
improvement
that.
fund as well.
Yes. I mean, that was like $500,000, wasn't
Yeah, close to 400,000. Yeah.
it?
And we're putting
Right.
that away.
So the bill paid for that the last time.
Yeah. So
We didn't have to borrow money.
So we started putting away enough to pay for it next time.
Well, the mill's getting ready.
We sound like bankers. We sound like bankers. Wow.
well, I mean, we don't want to collect too much debt. We're
Right.
accumulating a massive amount of money.
No,
I mean, that's just strictly to use to retire debt. When we pay off ultimately, when we ever pay off the debt, whatever's left in those funds can revert to the water and sewer fund, but not until the debt's paid off.
Right.
We just want to collect enough money to serve it, to pay the debt service requirements.
That's normal.
So what did you come up with on the total?
Let's see, that could be 1150, and that could $1.50. That's 2750. I need your calculator again. That's 1756. Oh, geez, what the heck? 17 plus 20 plus was it 2750 plus okay, so if you raise the 3% next year and lower your bill will be $79 and change.
So you're really going down by $1.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the first year, of course.
Right.
I mean, I after I figured out how many EDU, because we charge on the debt charge, we charge per EDU. So as that number increases, the debt charge goes down. That's why I'm a big proponent of bringing in more housing to lower the debt charge for everybody.
Yes, and
Because it spreads it out.
Right. More people paying the bill.
No, it's funny you bring that up. So, like with sewer and tap fees, if we generate a certain amount of money from that, can that go to paying off? Can we do that?
No, that goes into the improvement funds.
Okay, I was just asking. I didn't know how that worked.
And what should have happened, and that didn't start happening until I got here. They put those directly in the water, in the sewer funds, and those monies are spent. Those long gone. They should have been put in the improvement funds from day one.
Gotcha.
Yes, 60% of what Greif pays us goes into that sewer improvement fund to accumulate to pay for membranes. I'm still waiting on how to figure out how to pour money into the water improvement fund besides taps. I don't know.
We are going to negotiate with the paper mill about definitely.
And my understanding is all the remaining debt cannot be prepaid.
All the
We got
remaining
4 years left and we can't prepay it.
we got 4 years left on OWDA. If we would have to do a new sewer plant, let's say, what they would probably do is they probably would pay off that and incorporate it into the new debt. People's loan, bank loan, that's for the water plant. Bonds, you can't. I don't know about the People's Bank, but we still owe $1 million on that.
On the people's bank on the water plant.
Yeah,
What year was the water plant improvements?
2016.
I was gonna say, because that discussion was had out there when I was up at Max. And they thought we hadn't done any improvements in the water plant for decades.
No, that was
I'm like,
2000.
no, it was not that long ago.
It was
2016. We built a new building and redid a lot of it.
Yes. That was 2016. We're paying on that until 2035.
But if we had a rollover, we could pay that.
I don't know. I just know there's no more sewer debt on OPWC. We paid off all the sewer debts we have. There's still one outstanding water from, I don't remember when. It was in the late 2000s. That one we could pay off early. That would get us down. We paid off 2 vehicle loans this year. Tim's truck's now paid for, and they traded in the truck, which that's why the next ordinance is coming up. I'm going to explain that one after. Basically, they traded in that utility vehicle for another vehicle, $3,000 out of our pocket for that, and they paid off the bank loan on that. So we're whittling away.
Do you need something coming from finance?
Yeah, what do you need from us?
Well, I'm just laying it out that this ordinance expires this year, and council needs to make a decision on what to do with.
We're going
Your
to
recommendation is
raise it.
3%.
Lower the debt.
Lower the debt.
And we could do a continuing 3% per year in the next so many years.
How many years is that?
Sunset clause on that one?
They did this for 5 years. Fairfield County does it they pass it a law, back in 1989, increasing their rates 3% a year.
And perpetuity.
Yes.
And that's what we should do too.
I don't know about that.
I like.
That's up to you to
I like the
decide. That's
sunset
what
clause.
you
I got
decide.
my sunset on.
So like 5 years?
Yeah.
I prefer 5 years. I think y'all are revisit it.
Yeah.
So that's what-
So we'll have Jeff prepare that legislation.
Okay.
So,
Well, yeah, no, it's got to come out of committee. That's right.
does it come out of finance for council?
Well, huh?
Has
Discuss.
to come out of finance for council, correct?
This has to come out of finance for me to have Jeff prepare legislation. Yes.
Okay, so
Who wants to make the motion?
So I'll make a motion that we, basically continue with the ordinance, 2019-15. For the next 5 years, 3% a year.
Okay.
Revisit that.
in 5 years, yeah.
5 years. I'll second it.
What about the debt charge?
So
Same ordinance or different ordinance?
It's the same
you
ordinance.
can incorporate that.
Uh-huh.
So the plan was to,
Reduce.
reduce the debt service charge, for the next fiscal year.
Yeah.
By the amount specified.
What I said, what, 50 cents, $1.50?
That gives you all the same piece of legislation.
Yep. Yeah, it's all on the same it's all on the same legislation.
Again, I saw what he said. All in favor, say aye.
Well, I didn't get a second.
Discussion,
I didn't get a second. Oh, you seconded. I'm sorry.
discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Unanimous.
And then lastly, there's a new ordinance tonight. Like I said earlier, last month we traded in the utility service vehicle. The Coughlin, is it Coughlin or Coughlin?
Coughlin.
Coughlin. Coughlin paid off the loan that we had on that. But I have to reflect this in the books, and there's not enough budget in the sewer and water debt service funds to cover that expense. So it's basically gonna be a wash. I have to record the sale of the asset and then put it, and then it's
And
big.
that's the ordinance 2024.
Yes. I have to reflect that activity in our books.
I think what we paid off like $28,000 debt. but
Yes.
Come up with 3,000 put down.
So I have
Paid off
to show in our books, we paid off that loan.
Yes.
It's $28,000 split between 50-50 between water and sewer debt service funds. There's not enough money appropriate. I had just enough to pay off the existing debt or pay down on the existing debt payments that we have. So I have to increase the appropriations to cover that particular transaction that took place last month.
Well, 2024 is all about increased service debt,
Yes,
water debt. What's that got to do with the truck?
because I have to reflect that. I paid for that vehicle out of those retirement.
Sheriff's Department truck is a sewer and water truck.
Okay. All right.
So we have to do that.
Yeah.
Well, someone has to agree to sponsor and send it up to council.
I will do that. So that the council and amend the appropriations. Okay.
Sponsor, second.
Any second? All in favor? Oh, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
That's just a bookkeeping
Yeah.
thing. That's all it is a
But
bookkeeping
it's
thing.
good. We paid off a bunch of debt. We paid a little bit, paid a bunch of debt.
Okay, do we have anything else the finance committee needs to discuss, talk about, send to council?
Is there a vote on
Yeah, they did all in favor.
Not rushing me,
that? No, that's fine. I didn't hear that.
sorry, yes. Okay, the next meeting is scheduled for the second Monday in September 9th at 6 p.m. Do I have a motion to adjourn? a second? Discussion. All in favor, aye.
Just hold on, Debbie. Let me get my paper first. Well, that clock's off, so.
Doesn't matter. It's me, the dog.
6:28.
6:28. Okay, I'm ready
Okay.
for the next meeting.
You ready?
Yep.
Calling rules to order 6:28 PM. We have a
Schaffner,
present.
Foreman. Curry is absent. Yep.
We also have in attendance, VA Matt Nyheiser, Chief Brett Rogers, Attorney Mayor Rick Ellis, and council members Darrell Reedy, Donna Phillips, and the vice president. And we have our visitors on. Let's do. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of July?
Form makes a motion to approve the minutes of July 8 as presented.
Schaffner, can second.
Okay. All in favor?
Okay. 2020 goals, Billy Jollies are still tabled.
I will say one thing about the alleys is there's a machine that Tim showed me and I looked at it the other day. And it is pulled behind a truck. And you can do your own asphalt. And it's made for alleys. It's about $6,000. I'm getting more information on it.
Did you tell me that?
Yeah.
So I know somebody told me.
And I'm just saying that's probably something we're gonna look at maybe for the budget next year, only because then we wouldn't have to have a paving company come in.
Yeah.
We just have to have an asphalt company and then do some of these alleys.
Get a
and-
couple of bad ones.
Yeah, get the ballot and we just do it ourselves. So we are looking into that. I think it's might be a good investment. So that's all I was gonna say about that.
And does anybody, remember Holbrook got all the maps from all the alley? What happened to it?
But he told me at one point they disappeared and he doesn't know, he never knew where he went.
But we'll get it more.
Okay.
Maps for alleys.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to them. There was like 10 pages.
They are buried in more things that look exactly like them. That's the easiest way to hide something. It's called chemical.
They were out on the table there. And, yeah.
But it's something that we should address, and if we got that machine, I think we could address it a lot cheaper than
The
redoing.
maps though showed the alleys that were ours.
Vacant.
and The ones that
Well, I
were
wish we had that map.
abandoned. And
Yeah, that's what all those maps were. It was on that table.
I'll search through the maps.
Were they village generated maps or?
No,
were they
we got them from the county.
Well, then you can always do.
Well, yeah.
We might have to, but we can't find them.
I've been shocked at how nice the alleys are on the roadside.
Yeah,
Amazing.
that's because there's houses.
They're beautiful.
That's because there's houses on over there. What's his name built those two doubles?
Well, even the ones on the other side.
Yeah, you're right, they are.
All right, so I'm sorry, all business, home businesses, so, I know Jeff did some research, Matt did some research.
I read yours today, yes.
So, I want to talk about what do we want to, well, first of all, if our zoning code, if we want to change that, how is that?
It can be initiated by council. Changes to the zoning code can be initiated by council. Then get their thoughts. And then it comes back to council.
Yeah, planning and zoning to address it or look at it.
I kind of tried to do a comparison, but then, Matt gave us different cities, and then Jeff gave us one, and then I had the old, our zoning code. I wonder if it would be maybe helpful if I did like a spreadsheet where that showed the comparison side by side, or do we care? I mean, is our zoning code sufficient?
I don't find that ours.
Well, it's not extremely. In looking at these other samples, one of the things that I noticed was that a lot of the communities give you samples of what's permitted and sometimes what's not permitted. And sometimes they make a distinction between a minor home occupation and a major home occupation. And I think that would be real helpful for residents to know, oh, okay, what I'm proposing here, whether it's a beauty shop or taxidermy shop or whatever it happens to be, they know by looking at our zoning code, whether that's something that's permitted as a home occupation or not. So
It would help with enforcement too.
absolutely, because otherwise they could be scratching their heads wondering, okay, is this home occupation? If it isn't, if it's not defined, then maybe I don't need to do anything with the village. Maybe I don't need to fill out an application.
I don't know if you got my email today or
No,
not. Okay. But I sent around to everybody, I found a list of home occupations, not only, I'm not sure, oh, it was from Troy, Ohio,
Okay.
where they detail pretty much everything. They say, these are the ones that are accepted as home businesses, these are the things that are not accepted as home businesses. I think that would be really helpful. I don't know how you feel about it.
Well,
I haven't reviewed what you sent, but I can look at it.
Yeah, I think that it's, we need to be more defined, because one thing that always strikes me is like right down the street here, they got all those signs about tea parties. Is that a business? Is that not a business? I don't know. And they have actual signage.
Some places allow signs, some places don't allow signs. Ours say that our zoning code says signs have to comply with the zoning code for signs in general, for regular businesses.
Some communities say just a small plaque on the house itself. That's it. Nothing out in the yard, that sort of thing. So,
I think we need to be more defined. 100%.
Do you think a spreadsheet where we compare different cities side by side and
Yeah.
that would be
Helps
helpful?
distinguish the differences.
I can do that.
And if it was on a piece of paper, and I think that's the best way to do it, that is. And it's something that we need to do.
Okay, I will do that for the
Yeah.
next, I'll get it to you before the next week.
and Debbie, I would include because I noticed this in doing some quick research on it, some communities impose penalties. The penalties, for example, for not not obtaining a permit, and sometimes penalties for being in violation of the code section on it. So, so that's something to look at also.
Okay, that's what I'll do. I'll put that together and send it out. I'll send it to everybody. And take a look.
That's good.
I
That's a
think they're
good
gonna
way.
be kind of similar, that we can kind of pick and choose what we feel is most appropriate for the town. All right, well, is there any more old business? Any new business?
I have something for new business. So Tim has noticed, and we've noticed a little bit, that the intersection now, because those homes are built up there, the two doubles that are built, the people coming up Romulus at Rome, that intersection's just now become a non-intersection, so to speak. So Tim and I were talking, we'd like to make that a four-way stop. Up there.
I'm trying to picture what you're talking about. So when you're going down 158, you turn by the dog groomer.
Yeah.
Turn on the road, yeah.
And then that comes up where
All the way at the end.
Sherry and, yeah, so make that a four-way stop.
Yeah,
I think that's on safety.
well,
That's on safety's agenda, that intersection.
did Tim put it on there?
It's been
I
on
think-
there for a couple months, 2 or
Yeah,
3
but I
months
think
now.
that it is on safety.
Oh, yeah, maybe that was, huh?
No, we're not, that's not that one.
No, that's North Street.
Oh, North Street. Oh, okay.
This is new.
Okay.
No, we should, that's a good idea. But a four-way or a three-way?
It's
Well,
coming,
either way,
Yeah.
even when as-bills come out, they shouldn't just blow through because the people are coming through there. If you're gonna make it a three-way, it should probably be four-way because there's two houses back.
I've also been told, I'm not on this committee, but I've also been told the alley that comes out from the new, apartments
Yeah.
coming out on, 158, they're blowing through there too, between the two houses. They're saying they're not stopping there either. So that might need a stop sign there too.
Most of the alleys don't stop sign on.
Right, they don't, but
Can we put a stop sign in there?
That's what I was just gonna ask the same thing. Can you-
I don't know, but
well, it's kind of,
the lady that lives beside.
I wanna say states, but I don't.
Yeah, it's one thing
necessarily mean
to
that,
blow
that when you
through,
enter into,
Right.
then you
Yeah.
have to stop and maintain, because if you came through there, whether there's stop sign or not, you'd be failure to yield
Yeah.
if somebody came along.
Just like fair deal from a private drive.
Yeah,
Same thing when it's two village roads with no sign direction as to who needs to stop and who doesn't. It's nothing when you're entering a state route.
It's like they got stop signs when you leave the VFW. They mean nothing on private property. You've got to yield to the
Right.
traffic on 256.
Right,
And the same with that alley.
Well,
This is
four-way
Roman
stop
wire.
is definitely a good
Well,
idea.
actually, Rick, there's a stop sign, right here, in that alley that comes back behind,
Oh, right.
Brandis's,
There's a stop sign on this one too.
yeah, there is. So we do have stop signs.
So it wouldn't hurt, would it?
No, it's a good reminder.
Yeah. I mean, there's somebody's safety, there's somebody's making a comment, there's somebody, and we should put a four-way stop and a stop there. Now, what does that have to
We
do?
do
with
have
rules or-
examples of other busy alleys that have stop signs.
yeah.
Yeah. Where's there?
Is that you say Roman where?
Roman Romulus.
Four-way stop and road.
And
Yeah,
then-
and then a stop sign at the alley, that's a
and
good
what,
idea.
what's the alley called? What's these people's address?
I would have to look at that. I don't know what their address is.
I don't know what their address is either now that you say
So
that.
the first house past the old
Yeah.
oil change place.
It should be a Romulus
So
address.
between that house and the next house.
I think that street got extended.
Romulus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it's a
a
Romulus.
couple years ago.
Around and-
Yeah, remember, because I remember having a map.
Not an alley, it's really a street.
Road, yeah.
Yeah, so we should put Brett, you don't have an objection, that's certainly good. To the, to putting a stop sign at the end of that alley on the 158.
No, you can put stop signs on all the alleys, it's fine with me. I mean, doesn't matter to me.
Right, I'm just saying that if somebody's even said anything about it. All right, so do we take that to rules or what do we do?
Safety.
Safety. Okay. We should, we'll bring that up at safety and send it up, that's a good idea. Thank you.
All right, anything else, old business, new business? All right, we have a motion for adjournment.
Or makes a motion to adjourn.
Next meeting will be held on second Monday in September 9th. All in favor of adjournment?
Who was second on? It had to be Sean.
She's on there.
Oh, no one here. So what time is it? I don't have my.
Yes.
All right, so now I need to.
A Monday and it's probably a long Monday.
It is. It was.
Saying- I don't even know.
How and then thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as sustain our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call please.
Cosgray.
Present.
Foreman.
Present.
McCreary's absent. Phillips.
Here.
Reedy.
Present.
Schaffner.
Present.
Can I get an approval of the minutes from July 22nd?
Form makes a motion to approve the minutes from July 22nd as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Get a roll call, please.
Foreman.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
Cosgray.
Yes.
Reedy.
Yes.
Okay, approval of tonight's agenda.
Form makes a motion to approve the agenda as presented. I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Foreman.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
Cosgray.
Yes.
Reedy.
Yes.
Okay, we have some visitors here this evening. Is everybody signed in that would like to speak?
How about Holly up first?
Okay, yeah. That's fine.
Great, thank you.
Yes,
I'm Holly Maddie with Fairfield County Regional Planning, and I have with me Nicholas Eastham. He is our newest planner at Regional Planning, and he's actually going to be doing the presentation tonight. But we're going to be talking about fair housing, which is a requirement under our Community Development Block Grant Program, and he'll talk a little bit about more about that. I'm going to pass some brochures out as I speak. Here, you can take a set, and I'll take a set. There's that. Including what I have is the presentation that I will be passing around. I'm also going to pass around a sign-in sheet. I know you have one for your speakers, but we have to have one that says that we were here for fair housing, and they'll audit us on that. So I'll have one that goes this way for the residents and one that goes this way for the council. And Nicholas, you can take it away.
Thank you.
I'm just going to pass them down this way.
Sure, that's fine.
There we go.
Yes, ma'am.
Sign and pass it around. Nicholas what?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me here. My name is Nicholas. I'm a new planner with the Fairfield. Okay, gotcha. Okay. So yeah, my name is Nicholas, and I'm a new planner with the Fairfield County Regional Planning Commission. And I'm here to deliver a brief, but hopefully helpful sort of presentation over fair housing. So you can follow along with the printout as well. This is the entire presentation. So fair housing has two primary arms, one being landlord-tenant issues, and the other being matters related to discrimination of renting or buying housing. So as far as our role at the Regional Planning Commission, we serve three functions. One is to serve as the fair housing contact for any sort of fair housing complaints. One is to refer citizens to legal aid or the Ohio Civil Rights Commission. The other is distributing fair housing materials to the public, distributed in meetings such as this, but also easily accessible and available online at our website as well. So the fair housing program has 8 federally recognized protected classes. This includes race, color, national origin, ancestry, religion, sex, familial status, and disability. In particular to the state of Ohio is military status. So in fair housing programs, both the federal and state fair housing laws give all persons the protected classes the right to live wherever they can afford to buy a home or rent an apartment, and helps to ensure that fair housing is a way of life in Ohio. And there's an emphasis here on affordable. Affordable is very different for a lot of individuals and a lot of different circumstances. But for a lot of people agree, including the Department of Housing and Urban Development, that under 30% of someone's income, usually on a monthly basis, is considered affordable. Over 30% is actually considered housing burden. And naturally, the higher the portion of the income is, the greater the financial hardship as well. So in the sale and rental of housing, no one can take any of the following actions against any of those previously mentioned federally protected classes. This includes refusal to negotiate rentals of housing, make housing unavailable, and just as an aside, making housing unavailable is much more of a frequent issue than refusal altogether. Setting different terms, conditions, or privileges for the sale or rental of the dwelling, providing different housing services or facilities, falsely denying that housing is available for a special sale or rental, persuading others to sell or rent for their profit, or denying anyone access to a membership in a facility or service related to the sale or rental of housing. So two rights associated with fair housing programs relate to reasonable accommodation and reasonable modification. And in summary, reasonable accommodation refers to reasonable changes to rules or policies that landlords can give to their tenants, usually for those with a qualifying disability. And so this can include allowing a service animal where there's no pet policy, or allowing access to a handicapped parking space. Whereas reasonable modification is a right where landlords must allow tenants with a reasonable, with the sort of reasonable physical altercations to their unit. This can include the widening of doorways or hallways for building of a wheelchair. This can include grab bars for showers or tubs, or wheelchair ramps to access the unit as well. These two slides on page 4, listed as slide 7 and 8, fairly long, very detailed, very helpful, I think. But I think just to summarize it, the first slide here relates to landlord obligations and rights. The second refers to tenant obligations and rights. I think just to kind of look into the bigger picture or more common picture, one reoccurring complaint that we receive that is related to fair housing is related to tenants having repairs that have not been made. Landlords have not made the necessary repairs to their unit. And so tenants, not receiving that repair, will not pay their rent. And that's very detrimental. Not paying rent can lead to a violation of one's lease, which can then lead to the risk of eviction. Whereas with people in certain circumstances, renting circumstances, with the appropriate legal counsel, can actually, for example, look into putting rent into an escrow and continue that sort of legal counseling in regards to any sort of repair. Which in terms of legal aid, legal counsel, that actually leads to the very last page, which is contact information. As I mentioned before, the Fairfield County Regional Planning Commission is the main contact for fair housing complaints. The commission receives complaints primarily related to the discrimination of housing issues. And then the legal aid of Southeast and Central Ohio offers legal counsel for both tenants, landlord, as well as housing discriminated issues. So with that, that is the entire presentation. Thank you all for your time. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. If I don't know, I'm sure Holly will. So thank you.
Thanks. Holly, do you have anything else that you have or you want to talk about?
No, I think that Nicholas did a great job summarizing, what the fair housing is and, you know, why we're talking about it. Happy to answer any questions that you want.
Have any questions?
It seemed like this is kind of outside of our program.
So, it's not something that you would actually handle, that is correct, but what purpose of these meetings are is to make you aware of where to send folks. Because a lot of times council gets approached with things that aren't really within their wheelhouse, so then you have to know where to steer them to, so that's why we're doing it.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you.
If there's no questions, I appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Making the presentation.
And, no offense, I'll probably take off if that's.
That's okay, absolutely.
You always stop.
We appreciate you putting us first. You guys have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, is there any other visitors to this agreement would like to speak?
Oh, they were talking.
Yes.
There's not a lot of my school years, so I'm worried about it.
Okay, so. Yes, sir. Yeah, I know he's good. So everybody will have 4 minutes to speak and to make a statement, and we will go from there. Ms. Walton, looks like you're up first.
Yes.
Mrs. Walton.
I'm here concerning the sidewalks on Gordon Avenue. My name is Jenny Walton, and I'm 71 years young, and of those 71 years, I have lived in Baltimore, Ohio for 15 years. And Monday is my birthday, so I'll be 72. Okay, my husband, Stephen Walton, is 80 years young and has lived in Baltimore for over 80 years and is direct descendant of the Rochon family that is deeply rooted in the founding of our village of Baltimore, Ohio. Our knowledge of this town and our investment in the improvement of this town is true to our hearts and to our ancestors. We are aware of the need of improvements to our faulty water system, improvements to our existing heavily trafficked sidewalks, and the need for the addition of sidewalks where school children will walk and stand on the busy main roads waiting for the bus. What the town does not need is a sidewalk on a dead-end street with very little to no foot traffic. The town does not need a sidewalk where all 13 homeowners and homeowners of adjoining properties signed a petition of this construction project. We ask the town administrators, the town council, to take heavy consideration of what their residents have so clearly communicated what they want for their neighborhood. It was mentioned at the last meeting that Gordon Avenue is not a dead. Gordon Avenue currently has always been signed with a dead end sign, street sign at the end of the road. There is no adjoining road at the furthest southern point, only a gravel entry to a parking lot, which goes to the softball diamonds. So that is not a road. Gordon Avenue also possesses a turnaround for any traffic to turn around once traveled because it is a dead end. The property owners do not want the added maintenance to their daily tasks. The 13 homeowners take pride in the appearance of their properties and currently work hard at maintaining their yards. The existing tasks are physically challenging already, and additional work to maintain would be crippling for some. In addition, their financial upkeep for a sidewalk would not be received while our neighborhood does not have the extra income to make improvements. After the completion of the Baltimore Festival, and also living on Gordon Avenue for 47 years, I witnessed a very minimal amount of people entering Johnson's Park by foot on Gordon Avenue. Most of the foot traffic comes from Granville Street, Park Street, Jefferson Street, Johnson Street, and Summers Choice, not Gordon Avenue. I would like to reiterate the most important part of this request. I personally spoke with the program representative at Ohio Public Works Commission, Nick Rose. He informed me that the Ohio Public Works Commission grant, which we are here discussing today, can be amended with very little to no interference of the current grant. Nick Rose also informed me that it would be a simple process to submit for removal of the sidewalks of the current grant. Nick Rose also reassured me that this is no way would penalize our village in future grant filing and current applications for the grants. I have his phone number and his email address if you guys don't have it. I think you guys do have it now. He was very kind in stating that he would be happy to answer any questions regarding this matter as well. I hope the town administration and village council members took the time to consult with this individual on this matter that clearly means so much to this neighborhood. In closing, we, the homeowners of Gordon Avenue and adjoining properties of Gordon Avenue, are respectfully requesting that you take heavy consideration as a longtime citizens of our village and take the action necessary to amend the grant that is in question. We are in support of the pavement, the water lines, the hydrant improvements, and we are grateful for the village efforts in these improvements. However, we are not in support of the addition of the sidewalk on a dead-end street. We see it as an increase to our duties as homeowners and inconvenience to those who must maintain it.
Just one, your time's up. Your time's up.
My time, I'm done.
Perfect.
So thank you for that, and we hope you vote our way.
Yes.
So that took me 4 minutes to read that?
Yeah, 4 minutes and 2 seconds.
All right, then we're good to go. So vote our way, please.
Mr. Moore?
That's fine.
My name's Gordon Boyle, I live at 217 Gordon Avenue. I'm just opposed to the sidewalk too. Cause I have a little spot out in front of my house where I park 2 of my cars, so I don't have to be out there all day long moving cars in and out. And then, and like she said, there are little or no people walks up and down our street. Maybe 2 people walk their dogs, and chances are them using the sidewalk is slim and none. So, and my neighbors I know on each side of me would like to make a little spot to be able to park their cars so they ain't moving cars in and out all the time. And that's all I have to say. I won't use the whole 4 minutes. Thank you very much.
Catch his name, that's on the list.
Sherry?
Timer.
Yes,
No, don't worry. I saw you guys at the Liberty Township meeting a while back. I live in Walnut Township, and I'm a member of a group called Citizens for Fairfield. We are fighting Eastern Cottontail Solar. I have maps to show you if you want to pass them around so you can actually see. I mean, just go this way. Or,
I can do that with you.
All right. This is the 10-mile radius. There's a map with 10-mile radius from the project area that you can pass around, and Baltimore is it crosses over. Well, it goes beyond Baltimore, and then there is one where EDF, who is the solar company, they have actually leased. Now here's the.
Well, you can go ahead. You can go ahead and just walk around. Just walk around.
The actual project area. This is 1,500. It's either 1,550 or 1,560 acres. That's going to be their first project. They have leased an additional 800 acres.
And where's Baltimore on there?
Right here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is what we're talking about right now because they applied to the Ohio Park Siting Board. Okay. It's been going on for 5 years. We didn't find out about it until just about 2 years ago. The public didn't know anything about it. So this is all leased area. This is leased area. And then this purple up here is in Liberty Township. That's a different project. Okay. And then I have a map showing the actual project. I'll give you this one because it does show Baltimore. The light area here, this is the initial project. Baltimore is right here. It's got the name on there. So there's Thurston and Baltimore. Okay. So this is a project I'm talking about right now that we're trying to get stopped. But, and this map shows like all of their inverters. There's like, I think there's, I don't know, 70 inverters or something like that. It's ridiculous. But this, all this light area here, this is all the project area. And it goes from New Salem Road over to, I believe it's Roughneck. I think that's Roughneck. Anyway, just to let you know, here's Thurston and here's the project. So it is very, very close. And there are two pieces on this one map here where it shows these extra pieces. One of the pieces is right next to Thurston. So you can pass that around. This is the 10-mile radius.
It's been, this is.
Oh, this is, oh, okay. So there's the one that shows, this is how pretty a site looks like. That's a project in Pickaway County. That is Yellow Bud. It has all kinds of projects around. And then this is actually from Eastern Cottontail. It shows a little bit more of a close-up of what they're going to have inverters. They're going to have miles of underground cables. They're going to, you know, they've got these steel posts that they're going to pound in the ground 10 feet. Now, what does that do to farmland? Okay, they put in gravel roads in the farmland.
Your time's up.
Okay, well, this is important because
It is, but we have a time. It looks like a lot of that pertains to Thurston more than the other.
Well, but Baltimore also, because if you have a development going in someplace, you're gonna have to watch where it's gonna go, because the closer you get to industrial, now we're talking industrial solar. Okay? You don't care about people putting up barns and houses and garages, and we don't care about that. This is industrial.
What's Walnut Township say about it?
Walnut Township is fighting it.
Okay.
Okay. The county commissioners have, now this project unfortunately is partially grandfathered, so it was prior to, part of it was prior to Senate Bill 52 taking effect October 11th of 2021. The county commissioners have made all of Fairfield County, the unincorporated areas, exclusionary zones from industrial solar going forward. But there are 3 projects, one in Liberty, which is not too far, and down in Amanda, and then the Eastern Cottontail one.
These are all out of our jurisdiction.
Yeah. They're not in the village at all.
They're not in the village. However, they could affect the village if you want to annex, or if you go out farther in housing development. It's like, okay, what's next? Who's going to want to move there? You know what I mean? So the developers need to know this too.
Who's subsidizing it?
Our federal dollars,
So
billions of
you cut the
dollars.
money off, you cut the problem, because this is not sustainable without the census. Trust me.
Pretty much. Oh, no, it's absolutely
Not sustainable.
no. Any business plan, a regular business plan would not be able to support this. So what we're asking is if you would write a letter, and I can give you the information later, but if you would write a letter to the Ohio Power Siting Board, just supporting Walnut Township, like the other townships that have asked to be exclusionary zones, and then our county commissioners made the whole county exclusionary zones, except like your city limits, you can do what you want. Okay. And this is 50 megawatts and above, so it's industrial scale solar. But if you can write a letter just supporting the county and the townships, and to ask them to please deny Eastern Cottontail, I can give you a project number, do that, like after meeting or something. As a city council, that would help us. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Ferguson?
How you guys doing there?
Good.
Josh Ferguson, South Gordon Avenue homeowner. I'm not a fan of the sidewalk. I really appreciate the new pavement and water lines. Great. Really like that property because it was a one-way street. Not a lot of traffic. People in the neighborhood, they use that street to walk down. When it's open, softball player, man, people fly up and down that street. And yeah, granted, they still walk, but make it dead end again and don't worry about the sidewalk. Get your money back and use it on somebody else. There's something else, another sidewalk throughout the village, is my opinion. And yeah, that's all I got. I appreciate the street and the water that's going in. So thank you.
All right.
Can't read my name.
I couldn't, I'm sorry.
I'm Kaler Rinsky, live 121 South Basel Street. My problem's a little bit different and stuff. We have a homeless guy living in a camper that the gentleman that owns it, the property is actually in Fairfield County Jail. And you folks shut down his project as far as working on the house. But he's lived there for going on 3 years, and he has no water, no sewer, no electricity. And he's taking a dump out back of the house. And the neighbors on either side are very upset. I have grandchildren that plays across the street. And so we have a homeless gentleman, basically. He doesn't pay rent from what I gather. He has incomes. I don't understand how he's allowed to live in.
Oh, I thought he was not around anymore.
He's not.
No, this is another guy that stays there.
And what's your address again?
Well, I'm 121 South Basel Street. My backyard kind of, I can see it across the street. Yeah, and I guess, I don't know how to get, somebody needs to move that trailer out of there. I thought zoning, you couldn't park a trailer right against the street, and you can't park a truck right against the street, and there's several.
Yeah, Mr. Killer, Matt Nyheiser, we spoke together this morning. I did get out this afternoon and walked around the property. Well, not on the property, but in front of the property. Spoke to a couple of neighbors, took some pictures, and plan on looking into seeing what we can do probably first thing tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
The police was supposed to check him out. I'd asked them to check him out a few months ago, and I never heard anything back. But
It's, we just can't go to the door if he's outside and we can talk to him, but there's no reason for us to just go talking to people. So we have to respect that. So the camper was supposed to be moved and the zoning board allowed it to stay.
Is it in violation of zoning?
So the problem is the way that ordinance was written was you can't have a camper in front of your house unless it's approved by the VA, which just leaves the door open to anything can be approved. So we didn't have a VA at the time, so the zoning board looked into it to try to move this along, and they allowed the camper to stay because they have no backyard to put it in. That's the direction I was given.
Yeah. Starting to worry about rats and other things, and the neighbor's next door has a really bad smell on his back patio.
Well,
So,
and in the past, in discussions I've had, the property owner claims to be of a mind to dispose of the property. But neighbors have told me that she's actually complicit, that she actually comes to the property and spends time with the homeless guy.
Yeah.
Rather than pretend that he isn't living there and whatnot, that she is more complicit than she claims to be.
Well, we will address it.
Thank you.
100% we will address it.
I stay under 4 minutes.
3:52.
And a half.
Okay, so now we're gonna go to administration reports. First one will be mine. The only thing I was gonna bring up was obviously we talked about the pool earlier, and I wanted to figure out, we'll get those numbers together to see where we're at for next year. Really, I think Matt has a better report or more stuff that I was gonna go over if you want to go ahead, Matthew.
Well, you have my report in writing, and I think I sent that out Friday afternoon. I don't know if I need to read down through it, maybe just if there's questions or if there's anything, Mr. Mayor, you want me to specifically speak to.
No, I think we addressed everything. I do want this last thing. I didn't know there was somebody living in that camper. I thought that was storage. And that's okay. I wasn't aware of that. We'll look into it and address it. Ryan, do you have anything else other than what we went over in the?
No, I don't have anything else to add except for the 4 council members. We started a meeting. I need to get the service tag numbers and express service code numbers off your tablets. Sometime just email me if you know. I think you hit the start and go to service tag, and then it takes you to a screen, and you click on that and it gives you the information. It's not on your tablet. So we're doing an IT audit, and I need that information from everyone. Like I said, I've got the mayor's and I've got GAR's, but I need everyone else's except Debbie because she don't have one.
Okay. Mr. Solicitor.
One new piece of legislation on, it's an appropriation ordinance, and Brian is asking that council give consideration of passage of that this evening, just to correct that. So, and only one ordinance on for a second reading, no emergency language on that, and that's all.
Yes, sir. Village Council Committee reports, finance.
So we had the finance committee meeting tonight, and our next meeting is September, I forgot.
9th. 9/9.
Service Committee.
Service did not meet today. Our next meeting is, I think, August the 26th at 6 p.m.
Safety.
We did not meet. Our next meeting is August 26th at 6:30.
And the Rules Committee.
We did meet tonight. We discussed home occupations, the registration of home occupations. I'll be putting together a spreadsheet comparing the different cities so we can take a look at them and kind of make a final determination of how we want to go on that. And our next meeting is September 9th at 6:30 or immediately.
I appreciate you taking the time to do that. I think that's the only way we're going to be able to differentiate the right.
Yeah, there's a lot of information
Yes.
there, and it's kind of hard to.
We just need to define that.
Yeah.
So, okay, to public safety reports. Will be to the chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Hate to say, been kind of quiet in our world for the last couple weeks since the last meeting. We did have another drug arrest with the canine. Our new canine is in training. He's in school, and the original date for certification was the 16th, but the police officers training academy that does the certifying of that told us today that they were too busy and they had to move us to September 3rd. So that pushed back the certification date, but he's doing fantastic. I mean, it's probably the best drug dog I've ever seen. It's unbelievable.
I do want to say this, and that's why we're saying it publicly and make sure and everyone on council is here. I want to give kudos to Brett for, I mean, we have these 2 dogs. It didn't cost the village anything. And it's working. The second dog, because when he asked me about the second dog, I was like, we got one and we got it for free. Well, then he went out and banged on some doors and got the funding for the second dog. So again, it didn't cost anything, and that dog's going to be more involved in the high school. And there's something else I want to bring up. and I know you don't care about this stuff, Brett, but I want to thank you. You know, he went and, we had the police department offer us the Hummer. And the Hummer, was kind of a hit, I feel like, with the kids and with everyone. They put it in memory of some fallen officers. Again, didn't cost the taxpayer any money. And I know for a fact that Brett spent a lot of his own money and a lot of his time, in getting this car to looking very nice. It went to a car show, out fishing game, and people just were in awe of it, and they should be. And I want to publicly thank you for doing all that. So with that, anything else?
I don't think so. That's pretty much it. Oh, yes, I do. I'm sorry. Our new cars are both in. They're at the dealership. However, some of the parts for the upfitting, the dividers and the light bars, are not in, and they don't have a delivery date. They're saying still maybe 8 weeks, but we're number like 130 in the queue to get the car actually outfitted because of all these backed up parts. So he said realistically he wouldn't expect it before the end of October. Okay. But the cars are on the ground.
Well, that's good. I'm shocked that happened.
I know, me too. Usually it was all waiting on the cars.
Right.
Now we get the cars, just waiting on equipment.
That's it. I guess the next thing would be the fire department.
Yeah. Joint Basin Fire District did not meet last month. There was a forum. The next meeting is going to be on August 22nd at 6 p.m. at Station 610.
Super. Okay, so we go to village committees and commissions, planning and zoning. We had a meeting last Thursday. I felt like it was an informative meeting. There was some good things brought up, some bad things brought up, some things that didn't really have anything to do with what we were talking about brought up, but it was public. I felt like Mr. Mulder did a great job of controlling the meeting and doing it correctly. The tree commission, there are some things with that. Randy could probably speak better to that than I could, but they have moved forward with the grant and they are working on getting bids for for the company to suggest what trees we use. So
Yeah, they awarded that contract to Urban Canopy.
they did, okay. So that's a good thing. Records Commission. There's nothing there. The bicentennial, I will say that I did receive a call from one of the people I sent the letter to, the gentleman that owns not waste management, local waste. His biggest question for me was who he makes a check to. He didn't go into detail about how much. I didn't feel like it was appropriate to ask him, but I do need to ask Brian that.
Make it out to the village of Baltimore because that's where we're holding all the money.
I did also hear from Jimmy at the paper factory, and he's going to give me an answer by Friday what they are going to do, and it'll enable me to go to the next guy. So that's where I'm at with that, and then I'll let you take it from there.
Before I do, I just want to go back and ask you, do we know when the next when they will be meeting and voting on that?
The 12th.
September?
The 12th of September, and then after that, no matter how that vote goes, it will, the very next meeting, it will go to council to be voted on. Yes, ma'am.
Well, we really are still on hold, but I did send an email to the Hicks group telling them that I think we are ready to go ahead and apply for money from the SANS grant, because I think we have enough matching funds in order to do that. I do want to, I would like to hear something from council about, are we going to rezone this part, this area into a park?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know how all that works. The lack of Kenny and I were going to talk about that before our next meeting, so we could address that at the next zoning meeting. I assume that we have to do that. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
It's not already a park.
Well, it's not. I think it's a memorial area.
So it's just village.
I think it's
Yeah.
mixed use.
Yes. So I'll have to take that up with Kenny and we will figure that out. And then I would like to I want to talk to him ahead enough time so we can vote on it that night as well. So that's just another thing that maybe we could be done. Anything else?
No, not really. I'm getting nervous because it's August
Yes,
and, we want to start this in March. So we've been on hiatus.
And I want to, part of that is mine because I did reach out to some of the donors that I did, and I apologize for that. But since then, I feel like I've been
Well,
pretty
I feel
diligent.
like you've been, I don't know the word, but you've. What's the word?
Helpful?
I've lost the word.
I'm
I
back.
would say vindicated, but that doesn't sound right.
Well, that's okay. I know what you mean. So I am working on it.
You made up for it.
Yes, and we're gonna, and we'll get it figured out.
As a Baltimore Festival, so they gonna be in their theme next year?
Yeah, we had met with them a long time ago, and, I've never heard what the.
Well, I think there's like some changing of the guard going on with the Baltimore Festival about their,
Is it going to Sherry?
it is not.
Oh, I thought it.
No,
She resigned.
She resigned. from the board. Yeah, she's busy, but they're picking, I think they're in the middle of picking out new board members and things like that.
Okay.
But I feel like that's something that we should, you and I should definitely talk to them about
Yeah.
when they get into that, because, yeah, I was.
It's a missed opportunity, is not.
It is a missed opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
How did you sell bricks at the festival?
no, we were there,
Yeah,
but nobody, I have only gotten one order recently.
gotcha. Okay. Okay. All right, so we're down to motion. I do have, one motion or two motions. I have a motion to approve, I need a motion to approve Jim Hook Rattle to the BZA. Somebody could.
We'll make a motion to.
Cosgrave second.
Any discussion on that? Can I get a roll call on
that? Let's see, Phillips,
Yes.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Foreman.
No.
Reedy.
No.
Schaffner.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. Needed 4 members, so you'll have to reintroduce that. Okay. You have a full quote.
Okay. We'll do that next time. I do need a motion. We need to settle up on this sidewalk situation because I have to let them know so we can move forward with the water line. So I need, I just quite know the right wording to settle.
A motion to waive any requirement that sidewalks be installed on Gordon Street. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. As part of the redevelopment process.
We're waiving the sidewalk, we're voting for the sidewalk or against?
It depends on how he wants the motion.
Would it be a vote?
Okay, Foreman makes a motion that we proceed with the project as planned.
3 seconds.
Which means
Includes the sidewalk.
sidewalks required.
So then we need a roll call on that.
Well, we need discussion.
Discussion.
All right. Who seconded it?
I did.
And my reasoning here is the pedestrian right of ways are important, that the village establish them and maintain them on all the streets. And while I do appreciate community involvement, the sidewalk is really for everybody else. It's not for the people that live on that street, it's for everyone else.
But nobody walk on that street,
So
the dead end street.
I hear you, I do. And I expressed my opinion on this matter from the very moment we began talking about it. And at this moment, my position hasn't changed. That doesn't mean that that I think the people that don't want it are bad people or that it's just my opinion that all of the streets in town should have pedestrian right of ways with them. And that it's our obligation to establish those.
So I have a question about that. I've been thinking about this, and my question is, does this bring up something where we need to have an ordinance that says, or from zoning, I guess, maybe, that everybody has to? I think it comes down, I know that one of the things that I've heard over and over is the people grant people, but they don't have, in my opinion, anything to do with
They
it.
do not.
What matters is do we have, an ordinance that says that everybody has to have one?
We have
I
an ordinance
don't
that
believe-
requires all new construction to install them. I feel like it would be an overwhelming financial burden to require everyone in town to put a sidewalk in front of their house. But in this particular instance, we had an opportunity to do it by adding to a grant whereby we're not putting any additional financial burden on the homeowners.
It's not a taxpayer. It's not.
And that we really need to do more of adding sidewalks and pedestrian right of ways on as many streets as we can.
On a dead end street?
All-
Everybody's gonna walk
It's
on
not
it?
a dead end.
We're not gonna have this. This is, we already talked about it.
I have another question. So one of the things I did notice, and I just have a question as to what the thought process was behind this. On Washington Street, when we did Washington Street,
Yes.
you put new sidewalks in part of Washington Street, but not all of Washington Street.
All up to, you mean to where?
Basel Street, and then it stops.
Yes. And we added them to that project.
They weren't on there. We added them to
There's
that.
only so much we can afford at any given time. If we can afford to put sidewalks on every street. in
Okay,
town,
so
I'd do
it
it.
wasn't a matter of, okay, so that wasn't
We-
included in that.
Yeah, we took.
Oh, that's
that.
right,
It
that
was a
was
month.
it.
Yes.
Okay, I just was questioning. I just noticed that one day when I was driving home. and-
No public comments, please.
Oh,
Okay.
we have a time ahead of time to discuss. Anybody else?
I don't recall the village ever waiving that requirement in the past. Saying, oh, okay, residents, I'm just throwing that out there. I don't recall that ever happening before where the village has been approached and said, okay, we'll grant your request not to install sidewalks or not to have the sidewalks
The
installed.
other thing is there's a bit of a precedent to it, if Basel Street just decides that, I don't know, that they don't want any streetlights anymore, and are we gonna just all make a petition and say we don't want, we'll take the streetlights out because none of us want them here? I think the precedent is a little bit dangerous as well.
And it also establishes some parking controls, because a lot of the people who are parking in the pedestrian right of way. And so we're really not giving those people a place to walk off of the street because people are leaving their cars where the pedestrian right of way should be. I get it. I have a driveway and I want to move a car in. I have to move the car to get a car in or whatever. But there's a sidewalk in front of my house, so I either have to park on the street side of the sidewalk or in my driveway or in my garage. I can't really park on the sidewalk. And in fact, I did momentarily just rode brush and I had cops called on me. And it was only there for 5 minutes. So, but yeah, I feel like it's our own.
Anyone else? I'll take a roll call on this then.
Foreman.
Yes.
Reedy.
Yes.
Cosgray.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
Motion passes.
On to ordinances and resolutions. First reading ordinance 2024-24, ordinance to amend the 2024 appropriations ordinance. And the sponsor of this is
Reedy.
Ms. Reedy.
And this is just, a cleanup of the finances from, where we moved some around.
It's clean up the finances, basically. It's appropriate.
I understand that. Sorry, the minutes should reflect that.
It's basically so I can record the transaction that occurred last month
There you go.
when we traded in the utility vehicle for another vehicle.
And do we need this as an emergency?
I would like it to be, because that way I can close that part of the process out.
And I'd like to waive the 3 readings on this one.
Contrary second.
Roll call.
Reedy.
Yes.
Cosgray.
Yes.
Foreman.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
And Schaffner.
Yes.
Okay, so
Now we need a motion to adopt.
motion to adopt it. Yes, that's,
I make a motion that we adopt this, ordinance 2024-24.
I'm just looking, we could probably add it by 9.
she gets stuff on the way out.
Well, there's two guys sitting outside.
So, the second, okay, so we have a second reading of ordinance.
No, we haven't had the roll call yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Brian.
I didn't know if there was any discussion.
Any discussion? No. Okay, roll call.
Reading.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Foreman.
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
Cosgray.
Yes.
Okay. Motion adopted.
We've done all the legalities.
Yes. So, now we're going to the second reading
Yeah.
of ordinance 24-23, an ordinance to amend chapter 1272.06 zoning code of the general development standards of home occupations of the Baltimore codified ordinances. The sponsor of this is Ms. Schaffner.
Yes, this is an ordinance. We had discovered that, there were general, rules in, registering home occupations in the actual ordinance that requires, you to register. So this is to amend the zoning code to say that you have to register, that you have a home business.
And to further define.
Yes.
Home occupations.
Yes.
And this is something that really needs to be done. Glad we're doing this.
Now, should I table this now?
No, you can if you want to. You could table it now. You can wait till third reading. It's gonna have to be tabled. In order.
Just have the second reading and then table it next meeting.
Okay, so is there any discussion about that? If not, we can get a roll call.
No, that's just second reading.
Just second reading. All right, so we're going to the third reading, which there are none. There are no tabled ordinances. Is there any old business that somebody would like to discuss?
I have a question. I've gone back through, the last, couple of years and noted some things that I don't believe has been taken care of. And I want to know, would you like me to send them out in an email? And then we can all add to it if we need to. I went through some notes when I was mayor and that kind of stuff. And everybody can add to it.
Just a couple of things. I mean, like, just an example.
Okay. And I didn't want to bring them up
Okay.
like right now.
You can yell at me. I'm just asking.
No, it's just a few things like Wall Street and Mulberry,
Yeah.
you know, just things
Yes.
that kind of are kind
No,
of
then we
lagging.
should, I feel like we should make a list and it should be on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay,
And
I'll
we should,
send that.
and we should address each one of them. Yeah.
Okay, I'll send that out, because that's what I wanted to talk about that. We
Yes.
just got some things we need to check them off and move on.
So we're on new business.
So new business, yeah.
I would like to ask the solicitor to prepare an ordinance for, the 2019-15 was an ordinance to amend chapter 1024 of the sewer and water service charge from Baltimore codified ordinances to adjust rates. So at the end of this year, this current legislation sunsets, we would like to continue with a 3% increase and incorporate into that 50 cents decrease on the water debt and
Right.
$1.50 on the sewer debt on the initial implementation.
So that will indeed make that'll make the water bills cheap.
Yeah, actually, by my calculations, the bill right now is $80.42. The minimum would be $79. So when it's all said
So
and
for the
done.
first year, we're saving the residents a dollar.
Yeah, so we're saving a little bit of money.
So their rates will go down.
Yeah.
And then 3% for the next 5 years.
Yes, so we will write that up for the next meeting, okay? The only other new business that I want to bring up and we'll probably table,
Jeff,
but we
I'll give you.
definitely need to
It's
address
it.
the,
Huh?
whether we want to go one way or both
I should have
ways
kept it.
on.
It's in my office.
On Mill Street. So that's just something that I'll make sure that's on the next agenda, because we definitely need to address that.
Streets up there need to become one way.
Yeah.
Just need to map out what's the best way.
Which way?
We do. And
I think Mulberry westbound, Mill Street southbound, and all that, so.
whatever, we want to get her, but that's stuff that we definitely need to address.
That's probably still on the agenda for safety, isn't it?
Probably is. Yeah,
I think it
if
is.
it is, then we'll talk about it at the next. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else have any other new business? No. If any other visitors have one last comment to make?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, my comment on the sidewalk thing, I walk my dog up and down the sidewalks. There's 4, 5 really bad places that need fixed. I mean, it's crumbling, pops up, stumble. Nobody can walk on them. I actually have to walk out in the street around the holes in them.
So one of the things we're gonna do, this fall is, our street supervisor, we are going to, I don't want to say do an inventory, but we know there's lots of bad spots and we're going to make a list. I've only been here since January, so I couldn't. So, but our intention are to make, to put in our budget for next year to make some sidewalk repairs. So, okay.
I think she wanted to say that.
Generally speaking, it's a homeowner responsibility. No, I didn't say we're gonna do it. Some of them are
Well, we're
ours.
going to.
Not all of them are the owners. Some of them are on our.
Yes, some of them are on our property, yes.
I just have a question. If I send you information, like on the project number, who to send it to and all this, where it can be emailed in and the OPSB staff will post it. It'll go in under public comments.
I can handle that on behalf of them.
Yeah, Matt can handle that. Yeah. Have you sent to our administrator?
I'll get you my card.
Yep.
After the meeting,
You
I'll
got a
get you
call?
mine.
Oh, sure, great, perfect.
You see that?
Yep.
You can, I'll get you.
We can get you cards.
Does anybody have anything else?
Oh.
Yeah, we can make business cards for everyone if they want them. Oh,
So if there isn't anything else, the next meeting will be held Monday. I'm sorry, Mr. Gilbert.
Commend the council. A couple months ago, you had a lady come in here and talk about cars in her front yard. And now I see where maintenance department has put up reflectors all the way down the.
Thank you.
It's about the best thing I've ever seen happen.
Thank you for acknowledging that, because the person that complained has not even acknowledged that we did that, and we spent some money to do it.
She still needs to put a rock or something in there.
But I know, but we are trying to, Mr. Bidler, we are trying to address everything. There's so many things,
Well,
but I feel like we're trying to go about things the right way.
you can't, you can address it. It's not gonna make everybody happy.
No, I've given up on that.
You're right there.
To adjourn.
what?
You got something, Jeff?
No. Point out that there's a motion and second.
Okay, all right. All in favor?
Okay.
Hi.
What time is it?
7:58.
7:58.